cleanup effort continues downtown right now, where crews are dealing with two separate water main breaks. Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Marcella Lee.
I'm Carlo Cicchetto. They happened within hours of each other, caused many people to lose water overnight, and flooded a freeway, shutting down several lanes.
News 8's Steve Price has the very latest on the repairs.
Crews here at 11th and A are wrapping up their work. The pipe has just been replaced, and we understand that several of the homes and businesses in the area just started getting their water back. That's the good news. The bad news, about a mile from here, another break, and that one is still a big mess. A huge waste of water in downtown. City leaders say a 24-inch concrete pipe shattered Sunday night, sending water pouring onto the 163 ramp that leads to northbound I-5.
We've had water main breaks before, but it's usually small. It doesn't take up a whole freeway, so it's crazy.
And check out these pictures taken hours later, water still pouring onto the freeway. Mayor Gloria explains why it took so long to shut the water off.
Some of the valves in the area were not closing properly, and as a result, crews had to close valves quite a distance away from the actual site of the break.
Due to major flooding, authorities shut down several northbound lanes on the I-5 through downtown, and this is only half the problem. Another water main broke just a few miles away, sending water spilling into the streets around 11th and A in downtown. The pipe that broke here, a 16-inch cast iron one that was 76 years old.
Because of the multiple high-rises that are in this area, it's difficult for us to give an exact count of the number of residents and businesses who are currently impacted, but suffice to say, it is many.
I've lost all last night's revenue. I'm losing all of tonight's revenue. I had to tell my staff not to come in.
The mayor says they are still determining why the pipes broke and added that it's still too early to say if one break somehow triggered the other. But he acknowledges that aging pipes across the city are a major issue.
We're going to do what it takes to make this right here, and we'll continue to do our best to switch out the oldest pipes, the cast iron pipes that we know fail with regularity and need to be replaced.
The mayor says it'll be up to Caltrans to determine when that ramp from the 163 to the 5 can reopen, but he says it will probably be a while. He also said it's too early to know just how much water we lost between the two breaks. In downtown, Steve Price, News 8.
Thanks, Steve. What a mess. South Bay Wedding Chapel is facing complaints tonight after a same-sex couple says they were discriminated against while trying to get married there.
News 8's Abby Alford tried to speak to the owners of Anytime Wedding Chapel in Bonita to get some answers.
The couple who tried to get married at this chapel did not want to go on camera, but the people we spoke with say that the gay couple was denied a wedding ceremony.
On Friday afternoon, a gay couple called Anytime Wedding Chapel in Bonita to plan their nuptials.
The person who answered the phone blatantly said, "We do not officiate weddings for same-sex couples."
Deborah Gordon, who's also an officiant, was their second call.
Because this is their first time ever reaching out to a vendor, they thought this was the norm.
Gordon says that this is not the norm, but the chapel has made it their norm. Countless Facebook and one-star Yelp reviews dating back to 2015 about the chapel's refusal to perform same-sex weddings, and the business responds because of religious beliefs.
I proceeded to call the Anytime Wedding Chapel.
Gordon inquired about renewing her vows with her partner.
And then they proceeded to tell me the same exact line: "We do not officiate same-sex anything."
In one of the Facebook reviews, it appears the business responded citing the protection of Family Code 400.
It is completely inapplicable in this situation. It really does not apply to a for-profit company that puts together weddings for people.
Jacqueline Venachia is a trial attorney and a member on the board for Equality California. She says this family code only protects an individual officiant, not a business, because of religious beliefs.
This is blatant discrimination.
We called Anytime Wedding Chapel. The woman who answered the phone told me she would not comment until she talked to legal counsel and then hung up.
It would not be likely to stand up in court, I would not imagine.
Despite the Supreme Court nearly ruling in favor of a Colorado baker in 2018 who refused to make a cake for a same-sex wedding, Venachia says that was specific to that case, and justices still urge civility in future cases.
For the most part in California, the courts have found that the anti-discrimination laws extend to same-sex couples.
Still, LGBTQ advocates hope the chapel will do the right thing before it ends up in court.
We're told law enforcement would not typically respond to this type of incident. Rather, the chapel would need to be sued in civil court.
Today, Governor Gavin Newsom was in the Bay Area to encourage more Californians to get their COVID vaccine booster ahead of the holidays. The governor says more than 4 million Californians have done so already, but only about 17% of the boosters have been administered in the Latino community, and the state is now launching a new campaign to get the word out.
This is our sprint, working our way into the holiday season to encourage and promote boosters, to address, in closing, as always, the imperative, not just the importance, the imperative of equity.
California's positivity rate stands at 1.9%. It is among the lowest in the nation, and new cases and hospitalizations both fell over the last week.
The CHP continues to search for people who helped themselves to cash scattered all across freeway lanes in Carlsbad last week. We're sure you saw the video. This happened along the northbound lanes of the 5 at Cannon Road Friday morning. News 8's Dana Marie McNichol has more on what legal trouble anyone caught with the money could face.
It was all recorded on camera, and now police are using social media footage to find people suspected of taking the money. A local attorney says this is not a finders keepers situation, and here's why. Cash was flying after the doors of an armored truck malfunctioned and opened, blowing bags of money everywhere. According to CHP, thousands of dollars were being transported from a San Diego bank to an FDIC location in Los Angeles. Drivers thought they were in the right place at the right time, grabbing what seemed like free money.
Look at the freeway right now. Oh my gosh.
Demi Bagby caught it all on camera and posted it to social media. Many know the fitness influencer after she threw out the first pitch at a Padres game. People thought this was a finders keepers situation. They were wrong.
Be careful if you are in fact going to keep it and brag about it on social media. They could come looking for you.
CHP says the money belongs to the FDIC, and it's a crime to take it. The FBI has launched an investigation, releasing screenshots from this exact video to identify who stole the money.
Anybody who keeps the money is in fact breaking the law.
CBS 8 spoke to criminal and civil attorney Brian Watkins over the weekend.
The money was not lost and it's not unclaimed. You know, it's pretty much if you're walking behind someone and they drop their wallet and then you picked it up. It's not your wallet, it's still his wallet.
Officers are encouraging the public to still turn in money to avoid any potential criminal charges. So far, 5 people have turned in the cash. Demi Bagby commented on her post claiming she did not take any money, but tried to find the owner of the truck.
It would be a felony if you took over $950. If you took under $950, it would be a misdemeanor.
CHP says there were no signs indicating this incident was a burglary, and the driver is not being prosecuted at this time. We are still waiting on answers from CHP tonight, how much money was stolen and how much was returned. We will continue to update you on this developing story. In San Diego, Dana Marie McNichol, News 8.
Thanks, Dana Marie. Traffic's flowing again in Pasadena tonight following that brush fire you see there that spread to several palm trees. The northbound 710 freeway transition to the westbound 210 had to be closed this morning. Red flag warnings of critical fire danger were in effect for most of the LA area today with wind gusts and low humidity. Chief Meteorologist Carlene Chavis will have the latest on our weather conditions coming up a little later.
We are learning more about the man who police say drove through a Christmas parade in Wisconsin. A vigil is being held in Waukesha tonight for the victims.
5 people were killed and at least 48 others were injured. As Marissa Parra reports, the suspected driver faces a number of charges.
Police have identified the driver of this SUV who plowed into a crowd at a holiday parade in Waukesha, Wisconsin, as 39-year-old Daryl Brooks of Milwaukee. Police say he was involved in a domestic disturbance just beforehand and that he acted alone.
There's no evidence that this is a terrorist incident.
We got about 10 to 15 people down in the street. We also got multiple critical cases.
Police say an officer shot at the SUV to try to stop it, but had to stop firing to avoid the crowd. The victims who died range in age from 52 to 81 years old.
Waukesha has held what can be described as a Norman Rockwell type of Christmas parade for almost 6 decades. Last night, our wonderful Waukesha parade became the scene of a horrific tragedy.
We saw the whole thing happen.
Richard Locke's son and niece were marching in the parade, came home later to find that same SUV went through his yard, damaging a car.
You think in hindsight about what response you could have to stop the guy, and it's just, you know, even if I was right in front of it, it would have been hard to stop it. I mean, he was going probably 30 to 35 miles an hour when he went past.
Main Street where this happened is now back open, but what remains is the paint where police marked off evidence left on the road. President Biden spoke about the tragedy this afternoon.
And an entire community is struggling to cope with the horrific act of violence.
Brooks will face 5 counts of first-degree intentional homicide and possibly other charges. Marissa Parra, CBS News, Waukesha, Wisconsin.